And good evening. This is Late Night Parents. This is Ted Hicks. Ways to get in contact with us. Facebook.com/Late Night Parents. Twitter.com/Late Night Parent. And I'm found on Twitter as Real Ted Hicks. We talk about the latest and greatest in trendsetters in technology, education, sports, product reviews, and we all wrap it into parenting. Want to thank our providers and distributors of the show in the U.S. and U.K. And we do this with the best team in the world, and part of the team is here tonight in Richie V.
Daddy Dad, what's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm all good. I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Dr. Michele is not here tonight, so tending to some business that she's dealing with at home with the youngsters. We hope everyone is doing well. I don't know about you, but I wear glasses, and I've worn glasses for the past...
Yeah.
I think I got glasses about 15 years ago.
Yep.
But
I wear readers.
Oh, you wear readers?
Yeah, I have readers.
Okay, so you wear readers. I usually wear them for staring at the screen and nighttime driving.
Mm-hmm.
So I say this because it's hard finding a place that will give you great, eye care and optometrists that you can trust and all the above. So I wanted to give a quick plug to my good friends at Eye Care Vision Services of Valley Stream.
You found
my
someone.
myvsvs.com, because for Valentine's Day, they're running a wonderful type of offer. I mean, that's Fendi, Guess, Christian Dior, you name it.
All the custom frames.
Yes. So love isn't blind. It's a little blurry.
Okay.
But I want to give a big shout out to this eye care place. And I will be not only visiting them in the next upcoming weeks, we're hopefully going to have them in here in the studio to talk about the benefits of getting your eyes checked out. But along with that, what's going on in your world? Because we have our special guest, I believe is in the queue, but her name is Miss Janet Allison from BoysAlive Foundation.
Okay.
But she's going to hold on in the queue a couple of minutes. I wanted to know what's going on in your world, or you want to do this after?
We'll do this after. If we have the host is on the line, we don't want to keep the host waiting. So I say we can welcome Miss Janet Allison now.
All right. So from the BoysAlive Foundation, our friends at WGBB might not know her, but I know her through social media and through our podcast that's been airing for the past 3 years, Late Night Parents. None other than Miss Janet Allison. Janet, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. Awesome to be with you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Janet, we met, I'd like to say, a year or two ago. It's been a while.
Time flies, Ted. I think it's been at least 2. It might be 3.
Oh,
Not
my.
Sure. I know.
So, Janet, I'll tell you this much. The wonderful world of social media was the way that you and I were introduced to each other. You have a lot on your plate but I want to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for telling me about my son without actually physically meeting him. Because in our last discussion, we did a 60-minute discussion. It had to be at least 2 years ago. Janet, you explained characteristics, traits, things. You cured some of my fears, and you kind of, helped pave the way to getting me to have a better understanding of my son.
Wow. That's my mission. That's my passion. And, so much of it is, if you just know it, then you can see it and act upon it and know how to adjust your parenting behavior, or, this is also, as you know, this is male-female relationships, adults and adult to child, teacher to child. It's all of us, and it's so much about when we can understand the other, whether it's men understanding women or female teachers understanding their boy students, then, just isn't the world a better place? And what I have found is that so many boys and men feel so much more understood, and we can make them not be bad and not be wrong and not be, chastised for their behavior. Because it's a burden. It's a lot when you're always being told no and being told to stop, and why can't you just listen? All those things are, they hurt our soul. They hurt our spirit.
Janet, here's the next situation that I've run into, and it's a very timely topic. Help, my son hates school. How did you know? You're talking about my son. You're talking about a lot of dads that are out there, dads and moms. Their sons are like, oh.
Yeah, they come home, and I tell you, so I put together this webinar, and that's the title, Help, My Son Hates School. And we feel as parents so helpless, and what do I do when my son comes home? And the reason I created this is because I'm hearing from parents of preschoolers and kindergartners all the way through high school. And we see it in a little different guise along the way, but, it might be the teenager who doesn't want to get out of bed, or the middle schooler who isn't turning in his homework, and you have those homework battles every night. I don't know if that's happening at your house, Ted, but
oh, yes, it is.
It's all the resistance, and the boy that comes home. I had a mom tell me her 8-year-old son came home and said, Mom, the teacher picks all of the girls to be the helper, the star child of the week, are all girls. And so, that boy was able to articulate that, and he could see this difference. And what happens so much in school is that girls become the gold standard of behavior, and we expect our boys to behave like our girls. And it's just simply not going to happen. It's not biology. Boys need to be active and need to be moving in school. And so when we don't give them the context to do that, recess, fluid seating, that they can get up and move around, then we're already, even at an early age, saying that our boys are wrong and they're not okay. There's, why can't they sit still? And part of that is the something like 93% of early childhood and elementary school teachers are female, and many of them don't understand their boy students.
Janet, also in the studio with me is Rich Valdez, a longtime friend of mine, and dad of 3 sons.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Aha! I'm good.
Good. Glad to hear your viewpoint and what you're putting forth there. Because even as you were saying it, I was thinking to myself, wow, is this just a case of, one gender not fully understanding the other, which we know is common from being a child to being a grown adult? Is it just more a matter of perspective than it is a behavior issue? And it sounds like that's key to what you've analyzed and what you've been able to discover.
Yeah, and part of that, too, is when we think about education, which, school, the kids are in school for 1,000 hours a year, and we have created school in a way, kind of typical school. Of course, there's those outliers, but we've created school only in the last 200-ish years to look like it does now. And that's a very girl-centric model of education. Very verbal, sit still, listen to the teacher. But when we look at the timeline of history, this is not how boys learned. Girls can kind of adapt and flex into that, but boys learned by doing. They were out, behind the plow. They were building. They were blacksmithing. They were learning at the feet of a master craftsman.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't just being told information, so they were experiencing it with their bodies and able to, move things around and create things. And that is how most boys learn best.
Now, did you say that having the availability of sports, because again, as Ted mentioned, I have 3 sons, and two of mine are out of college, in their early 20s. My youngest is in his sophomore year of college. But throughout their academic careers, they've played 3 or 4 sports every year. Would you say that just having the availability there of, keeping that, giving them something to burn off that energy, because boys are boys, and it sounds like you have a full understanding of that. You need to keep them active. You need to keep them going. Would you say that having this, sports available can assist in possibly, fending off some of this "I hate school" or "I don't want to go to school" type attitude or feelings?
Absolutely. Sports sometimes is the only motivator to get some boys to school, but I think we also have to be really careful of that sport culture, because if it's too much focused on the athletics and not the academics, then we get ourselves into trouble.
Right.
So if the coach I had one dad tell me, the coach in the locker room, the talk was first academics, then athletics. So to really promote and support young boys, if they're going to play a sport, that's great, because absolutely they do need to burn off that energy, but we need to hold academics as important as sports. And then, Rich, there's all those boys who don't want to play sports, who aren't sports oriented. And so we have to be really careful to not let that sport culture take over and make the boys who don't play sports feel wrong or bad or different. We've got to have things that are as held in as high esteem as sports are.
Gotcha. Okay.
Janet, I just got a quick question for you because I do want to learn more about the webinar and days that you're going to have it this upcoming week. But I got to tell you this much. So at my son's school, they had uniforms. And I've got to tell you, I have had an ongoing discussion with my son's teacher about his tie, or the lack of tie, him wearing a tie, to the point where I have my wife and I, we have our son wearing the school sweatshirt with the tie under the sweatshirt. The teacher was unable to see it. And do you know, I've received or corresponded back with my son's teacher about 3 or 4 times in regards to the tie and following, orders and direction and overall, this is the dress code. And my wife got a little, perturbed. And I said, no, let's hang in there. Let's see where this is going to go. To the point where I had my son walk up to the teacher and say, okay, because I had wrote in one of my emails to the teacher said, okay, we'll make sure the tie is on. I'm sure he has it on. Maybe you got to take a look. Maybe the shirt is a little too big, to the point where I said, you have to dress to impress. And I had my son, one day his teacher asked him, and he said to her, dress to impress, and he had to pull the sweatshirt down to show the tie. And I got to tell you, Janet, I didn't know if that was him being truthful, him telling a story, as you know, most 9-year-olds do, or if this was really happening. Because I said there can't be that much going on. So when I share a story like you, is it something familiar? Is this one-off? What do you think?
Well, I'm not quite sure what you're asking me. So he's resisting he's resisting the dress code, and the teacher's insisting that he
Yes.
dress according to the dress code.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm not sure how this will land, but if there's a dress code, then he needs to conform to the dress code.
Right.
And absolutely, it's his job to not want to conform to the dress code, but I think it's up to us as adults to also help him see the connection with what he's doing as a 9-year-old and looking out into the world as an adult. And at 9, you're learning. And of course, some days you're going to mess up, and that's okay. And when you go to your job at wherever, you, as an adult, you will, there's a dress code. It might be that you're an auto mechanic and you have your uniform on, or a construction worker, but everyone has their uniform for whatever their occupation is. And this is just practice for that.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that answers your question, because I'm not sure if you agree with the teacher or disagree with the teacher.
I'm one to agree with the teacher.
Uh-huh.
And I said, I was at the point of, how do we get the emails to stop referencing the tie?
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see more important things happening than that. That's kind of a side note, and absolutely should be paid attention to. But how's he doing otherwise? How's their relationship, the teacher and your son? Otherwise, is she coming across? I'm assuming it's a she. My bad. But
yes. No, you're right.
I think you said that. Can we focus on something different? Can we let that rest? If that's the only thing she's needling him about, let's back off of that for a while and build and nourish the relationship on a different level than that. Because, if boys like their teachers, and maybe you guys can remember a certain teacher that you had growing up, but if a boy really feels seen and heard by his teacher, male or female, oh my gosh, that child will move mountains for that teacher. That relationship will be so exquisite, and he'll be willing to do anything for that teacher. But it's up to the teacher to help foster that strong relationship.
That's true, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I said, I also took ownership of the situation, because I said, okay, maybe he wasn't. Maybe I need to check him every morning to ensure that he has that tie on. But it did get a little silly to a point where I said, okay, so there's no behavior issues. Homework is done.
No academic issues.
No academic issues.
Yeah.
We're talking about a tie.
Yeah.
And I said, okay. And I had to pull my son to the side and say, okay, so we're talking about a tie. And I said, here are the emails. And I just scrolled through on my phone really quick. I said, do you see this? This is about you not wearing your tie. Which I thought was crazy. I mean, but I respect the teacher.
Sure.
You know?
And how to shift it out of that deadlock interaction. And absolutely, if he's 9, he may still need reminding, because he's a boy and he's 9, and he's, his brain is changing every day. So help him remember the tie. And it's like having a toddler. You just have to go through those steps again and practice again.
That's true.
And they're just bigger and have better vocabulary and minds of their own.
Hey, this is Late Night Parents. We're talking with Janet Allison from BoysAlive. Janet, as we get ready to wrap up, so what's happening this week?
I am so excited, Ted. This is going to be an awesome week. I am teaming with another woman. Her name is Jennifer Fink, and she has buildingboys.net. And she is an author, but she's also the mom of 4 boys. And so she's been in the trenches for many, many years. Her oldest is just off to college. And so we've teamed together around this issue of school and how do we support our boys in school. So we're giving a webinar twice this week. It's totally free, And we did a practice run last week, and we were so excited because I just got to say, we're awesome. We're awesome together. It's so much fun to have a team and to be able to play off each other. And I come from the education perspective. She comes from the parenting perspective. And we just have so much to share with parents and reassurance, but also here's what you've got to look at. If your son is, complaining about a stomach ache, hasn't finished his homework, says he hates school, or the teacher hates me. So we're doing this webinar. It'll be about an hour, and it's totally free. The place to register is boysalive.com/webinar. Really simple. And you'll choose Tuesday or Wednesday. Tuesday Eastern time will be on in the evening. It'll be 9 p.m. And Wednesday will be on at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So you can pick whatever works best for you. And don't tell anybody, but we'll send a replay if you can't make it live. We know live is best, but we also know you're busy. So spread the word. I mean, teachers need to hear this. Parents sometimes feel like they're really alone and isolated when their son comes home and complaining about school, and we think, oh, everyone else is doing okay. What's wrong with my child? And we are here to reassure you that you are not alone. Also, that you have to get ahead of this and really help him. And also pinpoint, what's the area? Is it the teacher? Is it the environment? Is it his academics? What's going on? So we'll really be diving into that and giving some practical strategies and support.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Janet, tell us best ways for any of our listeners to get in contact with you if they are unable to make the webinar, but they still want to follow you. And
absolutely, and please do. I mean, there's just so much important work that needs to be done. So you can find us on Facebook. If you just search for Boys Alive, you'll find our private Facebook group there, which is just an amazing resource. BoysAlive.com is the website. And again, boysalive.com/webinar is the saving your free seat, your registration for that webinar coming up this week on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Perfect. Janet, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out this evening to join us and discuss your upcoming webinar and helping me and the Hicks family along with understanding our son. We want to thank you once again, and we will be speaking, I'm sure we're going to be speaking, hopefully after this week. I want to do a catch-up with you on the webinar and best practices, and I think I'm going to join the Tuesday 9 p.m. session. Awesome. It'll be great to have you there. Great to talk to you, Rich.
Same here, Janet. Thank you for joining us.
Soon.
All right. Thanks again.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Take care.
My pleasure.
And that was Janet Allison from Boys Alive, the Boys Alive Foundation. I want to thank her for joining us, Rich. And those stories are true because I've shared them with you offline.
The infamous tie.
I've never run into a situation where I'm just like, really?
Yeah, we like you say, we've spoken about this a couple of times, and I'm leaning on that side of, okay, if there's nothing else going on,
right?
Academics are great, homework isn't on time, behavior is fine, and he sometimes doesn't wear the tie, and you want to focus on this one thing.
Let it go.
Sounds like energy being spent in incorrect direction, but that's just me. Let it go.
Let it go a little bit.
A little.
A little.
Exactly.
I'm not asking for much.
Right. Catch him, say, hey, put that tie on over there. And leave it alone. Let it go.
And there you go.
Wait till the next day. Put that tie on. And I bet you 1 or 2 days, 3 or 4 days, he'd start putting the tie on.
We hope. We definitely hope. Lot to cover.
Yeah, it was a busy week in the world. Of course, we had the what I believe was the biggest thing in the news.
You think?
Just a wee bit. The inauguration.
This is painful.
We don't have to go too deep into it.
No. This segment right here. Before we get into that segment, this is Late Night Parents. This is Ted Hicks, Rich Valdez. Dr. Michele is not in the building tonight.
We hope you're listening, Dr. Michele, and we hope everything is well with you.
I was texting back and forth with her. She was trying to get to the show via Alexa. I'm not sure if this is working for her or not. But if not, we'll send you the podcast, Dr. Michele, so you can comment.
And I'm sitting in your seat, Dr. Michele, just because.
Oh, my goodness. Before we get into the love trumps hate segment, what's going on in your world?
It's you know how we are at work.
Yes.
This is the beginning of the school year. Our students have returned. They are back in classes, scheduling, so that was all good. It really wasn't a bad start to the semester, I don't think. Got some fun stuff going on at home with talking about children. One of my sons. See, it's an interesting situation. So one of my sons, it turns out, has lost his wallet.
Okay.
So we find this out in the morning, the day we're about to take him back to class. Today, had to take him upstate Pace University. So we're looking around. We can't find it. Start making some phone calls. Start calling the banks. And sure enough, there are numerous attempts to use his card.
Really?
Within like an hour. This is how he identified what happened to it. He actually left it in a cab that was dropped. He was dropped off in front of the house. Left it in a cab. I'm guessing the next pickup, saw it, grabbed it, started trying to use it. Fortunately, nothing went through.
Really?
But yeah, so we've been through police, and you got to get in contact with DMV for licenses, and it's credit cards, it's school IDs, it's all kinds of things. Which it does seem like at least everyone understands these days the sensitivities of identification theft.
Right.
So everyone's right away. All right, we shut that car down. Here's your police report. Here's the number. As soon as you have some more information, come back and we can get things going for identity theft and protections and things like that. It's not like it used to be, where people would sit on it for a while. They don't do that anymore.
Right.
So that's been good to see. So definite shout outs there to Chase. That's one of the institutions who's already taken care of things. Suffolk County PD's doing what they're supposed to do, it sounds like and looks like. So it's been an adventure, to say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. Oh, my goodness. That's never good. So tell me this much. Yes, you guys started looking for it today?
Well, he realized it was missing today, and it's actually been like a little over 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
So it actually has been missing.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of time to do damage.
Yeah, but nothing has, it looks like the banks, all the processes that are in place did what they're supposed to do. So
that's good.
It's good to see that happen.
Yeah, it's really good to see that happen. So, did he leave for school?
Yep, I took him. I was up there about an hour and a half ago.
Oh, okay. So my next question is, replacement items
already in the works, already on the way.
Good.
That's what I'm saying. These days, all of those issues are a phone call away.
Right.
Even the DMV will replace if you have your police report and docket number. They won't charge you for the replacement if you go into a motor vehicle office.
Oh, good.
With the numbers. So he'll be back in functional shortly. It's a few days before they get everything taken care of. So again, not like it used to be where you can sit there for weeks.
It's true. That's true, Rich.
A month without your documents and without paperwork.
Well, I'm definitely sorry to hear about that. Dr. Michele is listening to the show right now. She just sent the text saying she's sorry to hear about your son.
Thank you, Dr.
So
Michele.
she said the studio looks empty.
It does. Wait, you know what? I will, before the night is over, take the selfie.
Wait. But we need to say it's Ask Dr. Michele, and that's Michele with
one L. AskMichele. One L. It's Ask Dr. Michele.
All right. You were definitely missed here, not being here tonight, Dr. Michele. Want to go into, I guess we're in segment 3, and we were talking love Trump's hate.
Love the hate.
What in the world is going on? Because from the inauguration to yesterday, to Friday, I got a text message from NYC Gov.
Really? Saying what?
That there's going to be a protest. And in Midtown. So trains are going to be delayed and everything else like that. I said, oh, my goodness.
Someone who has been in the studio a few times over the last week was at the parade, but she did not show up here today.
Get out of here.
She was there.
What?
Yep.
She went to D.C.?
No, here in the city.
Oh, in the city.
DC.
Okay.
Yeah, in the
city.
city.
My sister-in-law, Karen, was in D.C. yesterday from... Where's she now? She's in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Nice.
So her and some of her church members, I guess, hopped on a bus, a coach bus.
Mm-hmm.
They rode to D.C., and they marched with everyone else.
Nice.
Rich, within inside of 12 hours, 10 minutes of this guy being sworn in D.C. was on fire.
Fire.
Flashbang, grenades are being shot.
Yep.
I saw someone get hit in the face with pepper spray.
I missed that one.
Yeah, I saw it. It was.
But see, the problem is also, that in itself is an issue.
Right.
But you have the peaceful protesters. Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Right.
You have an issue with it. Peaceful protest, march, signs, go up and no problem. Those who are out there breaking windows in banks and private businesses and all, no.
But that's the mix. That always happens. If you notice,
yeah.
If you look at any organization, because people love to talk about Black Lives Matter or whatever the organization is, and there's always a few knuckleheads that are not affiliated with them,
and they're out there.
So we saw that on Friday during the inauguration because they're streaming it live for the world to see on C-SPAN.
Right. Yep.
You know, you're sitting here. But you had the Women's March that was happening in D.C. That was the main one happening in D.C.
Yeah.
But in other states across America and in other countries.
Paris, London. Like I say, here in the U.S., New York. Did you see the images that were coming from Fifth Avenue?
Yes.
5th, 1st, 2nd.
Yes.
All the way across, packed. Linda was saying it was literally sardines. You had to shuffle and wait half an hour, maybe move 10 steps forward.
Rich, all it is for one person?
Yes. Well, you want to count the entire family, so we'll say, what is that, 7 people, 8 people? Yes.
So, what do you think are the next steps? Because every time there's a march, there's a rally, there's a call.
Well, see, normally, many times when you have the situations, when there's the march, the rally, the call, it's about a situation that you can change.
Or there's been some type of injustice.
Now, granted, some people would say that the election was an injustice.
Yeah.
Okay. Some would say that.
Okay.
But it was due process election. Now, I upset about the outcome. Okay, no problem. Protested? Sure. Okay, no problem. What will the protests accomplish? I think, sure, it'll accomplish visibility. It'll make some people who might have been on the fence or maybe even really didn't, have an in-depth understanding. It might give them more of a viewpoint and say, well, why are these people out here complaining? Oh, okay, this is why. Even if they don't agree with it or not, a little more visibility into the issues. But even more so, I think, what this will cause, if the fires can stay lit for the next 2 years, midterm elections.
Right. And that's the key here. Like you said, if there's an injustice or there's been something done, the goal here is this is your grassroots right here.
Right.
So you're building a foundation. You're starting a movement now. And the goal is, I'm guessing, 2018.
Yeah, that has to be. That's the starting point with really looking and saying 2020.
Right. You're really saying 2020,
Right.
but you're getting rev to, because, every time you're looking at a specific goal, there has to be like certain milestones.
Right.
So 2018, the Senate for 2018
Yep.
and making the change there
Yep.
is going to be key.
And you can be sure, again, we've had those discussions too. It's, over the years and years you see this happen. It's, the word the pendulum has been out there, and it swings both ways all the time. So it's never going to hold all three branches of government in one party for more than a term.
No.
So it would be expected, no matter if Trump was the most loved person put in office, it would still swing back the other way, because that's just how politics in America works. But what's also interesting is, like you indicated, you're seeing all this around the world.
Around the world.
Now, as I forget what the quote exactly from which news outlet it was, but there are no electoral votes in Paris.
No
electoral votes in London.
No.
So you still come back to the good old U.S. of A.,
Right.
which you still come back to half the country voted the other way.
Here's the beef. I guess here's my one beef in regards to the election. And I was talking about this before you got here with Brian.
Okay.
My only beef with everything is, this is for the people that didn't vote. This is for the people that wanted to sit this one out.
Right.
I'm sitting this out. I've had friends and conversations.
Okay. About to ask you, yeah. Who said they sat it out?
Who said they sat it out. And I'm like, there's something I really want to say. Are you happy now? I really want to say that.
Then those people better not be out protesting a damn thing.
Right.
If you sat this out, if you said to yourself, you know what, I'm going to sit this out, then you need to sit out the next 4 years.
Right.
Sit in the corner.
Right.
Don't say anything. Sorry.
It's something I've said to you before, not here, but at work. The most profound thing Michael R. Bloomberg ever said as mayor of New York. Mm-hmm. It was during term 2. Mm-hmm. So years 4 through 8, not years 9 through 12.
Not the extension.
Yeah, not the extension, because that was illegal. But this is not a political show or anything like that.
No,
but he said, if you don't vote, shut up.
End of story.
End of story.
Yep. If you voted and you didn't like the outcome, okay. I also think there is a thin line between being upset and coming off like a sore loser.
Right.
There's a thin line there. But I totally understand, people being upset. Well, this guy got elected, and after the things, you can't even say he allegedly said, because once it's on videotape and it's recorded, the things he said, certain behaviors, certain ways he acted, I completely understand people being upset about that. Sure, that's and the only way, I guess, to wake everyone up and inspire people to make a change is to get out, do the protesting, make sure it stays in people's faces, don't let them forget. And you never know what happens in 4 years, 2 years. We'll have to see.
This is Late Night Parents. Rich Valdez, Ted Hicks. We are here, and we do not have our good friend, Dr. Michele Reed, here.
I'm going to take the selfie now.
Take the selfie right now.
Let's get it up on Facebook.
Put it up on Facebook and say, where's Dr. Reed? But, Rich, last piece in this segment is alternative facts.
Here we go.
Alternative facts.
Alternative
facts.
See,
they're not
the primary facts. They're the alternative facts. Now, I always thought that there was a fact and there was a non-fact, a non-truth.
I got to take the headset off.
Ted was taking the headset off.
Alternative facts, Rich.
Yeah.
I'll leave it right there.
This is when you drink your own Kool-Aid.
We're going to segue to segment 4, and we're going to talk tech. Well, before we talk tech, who do you got in the Super Bowl? Who do you want? Who would you want in the Super Bowl?
Well, we already know who one team's going to be there.
We already know.
Congratulations, Atlanta.
ATL rise up.
Destroyed Green Bay.
Thank you.
Destroyed.
Thank you.
I mean, that hurt. That hurt to watch.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch
the last quarter and a half.
I want to see Pittsburgh win tonight.
So do I.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
No, wait. I'm even going to flip that.
Mhm.
I do not.
Yeah, I do not want to see New England
win
in the Super Bowl.
But I would like to see Pittsburgh.
Yes.
If I'm not rooting for a New York team, I know some people don't like that. You gotta always root for your team. No. If I will always root for my New York teams. But if I'm not, I tend to be a Steeler fan. So seeing them there, especially after all those years, I mean, well, grew up in the 70s watching them play.
Right.
Seeing the original, the curtain.
Yes, Steel Curtain. Lynn Swann.
Franco.
Even Bradshaw with his crazy self.
Yeah, he's still having fun.
He's still having fun. I just want to see Bradshaw have to be up there and have to give the trophy to Tomlin.
Yes.
And just
the look on his face.
The look on his face.
Walking down the line,
Yes.
walking through all the teams.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be pretty nice.
I want to see that.
So yeah, I go for Pittsburgh.
Segue really quickly to technology. What's in your mind right now? What's hot out there for you? I mean,
in what? Because it's funny these days. I'm kind of in a technology lull, if you will.
Okay.
The last any significant pieces that I added were 4K TV, and I know that's I'm really a couple of years behind the edge on that, but I waited and waited.
Well, you waited for pricing.
Yeah, waited for pricing, and it's also like everything else. Obviously I missed out or waited on 3D, and we know that 3D is now officially dead.
It's dead.
Last week, who was it? Was it Samsung? And I forget the manufacturer. They said, you know what? We're done. Not making them anymore.
No.
They weren't. No more were announced at CSS and taken out of the SKUs. 3D is done.
I tell you, the one roadshow I really want to do is CES. Not the New York one that we went to because that was kind of cheesy.
That was the real CES.
The real Las Vegas CES.
So make it happen, Ted.
CES or NAB.
Or both.
Because we could have been there and been sitting inside a Faraday Future.
Yes.
Come on.
And for me, I'd like to get to SEMA. Get me into SEMA.
Yeah.
To see some of the breakouts in the automotive world. See what's coming down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really gets the juices flowing. It really does.
Yep.
But, in the world, let's put it this way. Is 8K, how close are we to 8K?
Well, considering that, look at 4K, right?
Right.
We don't even have broadcast of 4K everywhere. We really
sports.
hardly have it anywhere.
I think they're going. MLB is going to touch it somewhat this season.
Okay.
EPL, English Premier League, is doing it now.
Netflix, they're doing it.
They're doing it,
which I think will be the driver behind it.
Yes.
Let Netflix. I don't know. Is Hulu doing anything in 4K?
I don't look at Hulu for anything.
Hence, I'm asking because I
right.
don't either.
I don't look at Hulu for anything. Did you hear the rumors that Disney could buy Netflix?
I think I saw something about that. They've got the production companies to do it.
Right.
They've got the money to do it.
Right.
Would it necessarily be a bad thing? I don't think so. Because I can't see them really getting involved in anything, of the per se day-to-day. They would just use it as a way. Suddenly you see all the old Disney movies out there.
Right. And
then they can start charging people because, now you're out there with a 3-year-old kid and you want to see the entire Disney catalog. Well, just give Netflix $18 or $10 a month or whatever, and you can have them.
And you can have it.
That's a way to make some money.
You can have it.
Or they can just make that deal now and don't even worry about it.
That's true.
And there we go.
It's like what's so sad, where you got Netflix and you got Amazon kicking everyone in the teeth. You got Bezos kicking everyone in the teeth in every industry.
So that might be the next big one. What do you say to an Amazon Netflix play?
That would be huge.
That gives Amazon everything they want and need.
Totally.
And they can afford it too.
Totally. I could see that.
That's a more of a play than
Because
Disney.
I still see Disney more as legacy, but I see it as legacy as, hey, we got to catch up.
Except 2 words, Star Wars.
Star Wars. Right. I'm just, the way it's distributed, some of their movies and everything, and I see that. It's just, like you said, Amazon just, I don't know.
And then that gives Amazon Video everything they ever wanted.
Right.
It gets rid of the competition. They become partners.
Right.
If one owns the other. Okay.
But I mean, we're in a world that a lot of other people aren't in, and we understand, AWS.
Yep.
We understand. I mean, there's the one thing that I don't think we got a chance to talk about a few weeks ago that I wanted to talk about was Amazon Go.
Okay.
Amazon Go, to me, kicks everyone.
Using it.
Everyone in the teeth. Just in the way that you handle your business, that you could say, hey, you know what? I don't need a cashier anymore.
Right.
I don't need, hey, there's no more lines anymore.
Right.
I mean, look at what Cuomo is doing for these bridges and tunnels in New York.
Now it's just like, all right, well, you don't have speed pass. We can now capture your camera, which the police have had that technology in the cruisers for years.
Yes,
So
but now we're going to implement it. Mm-hmm. But I'm saying you think of that.
Yep.
I mean, earlier on with the Easy Pass, basically Amazon is saying, here's your Easy Pass. It's on your phone. Drop your items in and go. It's a game changer.
Let's see how many people. I'd be curious to see how many people are actually using it and what the uptake is on it.
Well, right now it's a single store in Seattle.
Okay.
That only their employees are testing.
Oh, okay. All right.
So right now it's one prototype store.
Okay.
And not only that, but what they're doing with brick and mortars, doubling up. It's kind of, in a way, double dipping because you destroyed.
Right, you got rid of all the brick and mortars, and now you're going to go become one.
You're going to become one, and it's going to double while it's off as your warehouse, as your
shipping location.
Shipping location.
Yep.
Hey, Rich, I got a drone today.
Oh, you did you?
I got a drone.
Which one?
Rich, it's a very entry level.
That's what you need first.
Yes.
Trust me.
And I got the app. What is it? It is the Talon HD drone. So I got that, and it arrived. I mean, did you know, like, United States Postal Service delivers
on Sunday?
On Sunday.
Yes. They started doing that a few years ago. Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Strange.
But they're doing it for Amazon, right?
They did it for, I believe they did it for Amazon.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've ever received anything but an Amazon package on Sunday. So they obviously, there's Bezos again.
Right.
Let's make this deal.
This is what you're going to do so we can make our 2-day and 1-day commitment.
Yep.
But I got a drone. I've been watching a lot of different videos on YouTube.
Okay.
Just getting into that space.
How big is it?
Not big at all. Very small.
All right. No, that's not very small.
Very, very.
You're saying that's about a foot across.
Yeah.
That's not very small. That's really, I think that probably meets the FCC requirements that you don't have to get your license at that size, because that's what the change was. So if you go to the drones from, say, last year and previous, the full size ones like the DJIs and all those, those were like a foot and a half and a certain weight, and now you have to get your license to fly.
My eye is on a DJI.
Look at the Mavic.
I'm looking at the Mavic.
Mavic is nice.
Yes. It's pricey.
Exactly.
It's pricey, but
it's
it's
hard
nice.
to pull the trigger on, but the Mavic
is
nice.
The one.
Now, of course, they had some issues with it.
Right.
Which I believe
you talking about the 3,
resolved.
the Mavic 3, or?
Well, yeah, the one that was just released.
Yes.
Like just before the holidays.
Yes.
They did have a problem with, I think it was batteries.
Okay.
Some were literally dropping out of the sky.
Oh, okay.
But it was an issue that they did some recalling on, and they've resolved that issue. The Mavic is really, really nice.
Yes, it is.
It's small, folds up. The camera quality, the video quality is amazing. The gimbaling and everything that it does.
Yes.
You drop that $1,000. That's what it is, though.
You got to drop $1,000.
But if you want someone to preview one for you,
Right, that's
someone
just it.
on the 10th floor has one.
Right, I heard. What I've been doing is I'm working some angles and trying to get one sent as a review.
Okay.
Now I don't know if that means after a certain point in time I got to send it back,
right? Or say, can we buy it? We would love to review one.
Right.
I had a smaller one. I had one as a gift a couple of years ago. So I had one of the mini drones.
Oh, okay.
So I could fly it around the house, but it also had a camera. So
Okay.
I could take it outside. Battery. The biggest thing on all the smaller drones is battery life.
Battery life.
You get if you're sitting there thinking like, hey, I got after 8 minutes or so.
That's it.
Done.
And
then you got let it charge for another couple hours. It's like,
so the Talon, they sent me 3 batteries.
Nice.
Sent me 3 batteries, replacement.
Okay.
Blades.
Okay. So you're set.
Yeah, I'm for the most part, I'm set. So I'm gonna be testing it out probably later this week.
Okay.
Other than that, anything else going on in your world?
Nothing. Looking forward to the week. I'm expecting this to be, hoping this is an uneventful week.
Yeah, it should be. It should be. I think that's about it. Other than that, dude, I don't know if you've got your flu shot.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I got
good,
mine actually
good.
at the very, very beginning of the season.
Good.
I was in CVS to pick up a prescription, and the pharmacist was like, "Well, you want to get a flu shot too? You're covered." And, no charge, no nothing. It's like,
Perfect.
Sure, okay. And 1, 2, 3 right there. Fill out the forms. Done. No charge. And I also got a sheet, that they say, here, print this out or copy this, and you can give it to friends and family.
Perfect.
Free flu shots.
Perfect.
So, yes, I got mine. I try to get it every year just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah, you got to. And like I said, you got to encourage those family members that are like, oh no, conspiracy theorists or whatever. No, because then you're giving me a strain of the flu and all this other craziness.
No, get the flu shots.
Get it.
That'll be a good one. A good one to get someone to talk about the whole inoculation theories. Dr. Michele.
Dr. Michele.
Speak to some of that.
I'm
I'll
sure.
have some more friends to speak about that.
I'm sure. So with that, we are getting ready to close out of here.
What's on your agenda for this week? Anything good?
Yeah, it's quiet. It's quiet. Very, very quiet. Outside of the drone and outside of homework and all this other stuff and projects and everything. It's standard week. So I want to thank you as always. And also the MTC Dr. Michele.
Dr. Michele, we miss you.
With that, I think
Right.
best ways to get in contact with you, Rich.
I'm still the same. If you want me at Twitter, it's RichieV_NY. That's RICHIEV_NY. Or on Facebook at The Real Richie V.
All right. And you know the ways to get to, just go to latenightparents.com where you'll find a copy of this podcast. Will be posted later tonight. You'll see the little widget in the lower right-hand corner. You can find me, The Real Ted Hicks, tweeting all week long, talking about technology education, some parenting type stuff.
A little bit of this.
A little bit of that, a little bit of this, and product reviews. And we'll be talking a lot of sports. I tell you this much, Rich, in 2 weeks,
Yep.
we are not doing a live show on Super Bowl Sunday.
But why not, Ted?
I don't know about you.
I'm sitting there at the game, but
Right.
maybe we can arrange to be at the same place and just have a camera sitting there watching us ramble and rant about it.
That might be great. That might be
We'll
great.
talk about this.
We'll talk about it. Well, other than that, it's been great. I want to thank you as always, and we're out.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
The views expressed in the previous program did not necessarily represent those of the staff, management, or owners of WGBB.